Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. My name is Erin and for today's video we are going to be doing a spoiler-filled reading vlog for one of my most anticipated releases of the year, Good Girl Bad Blood by Holly Jackson. So, number one, I'd like to apologize for how I'm starting this vlog. I fully intended to start it with a full face of makeup on and at least introduce the video to you guys looking presentable, but that's not how this night has gone. So this is what we're working with, and I'm starting the book now, and I wanted to start the vlog before I started the book. If you've never seen my face before, if you don't, A Good Girl's Guide to Murder by Holly Jackson was one of my favorite books of last year, and I made an entire review for it, both spoiler and non-spoiler filled. I asked you guys on my Instagram if you wanted me to do a vlog for this or just a regular review. Most people said vlog, so that's what we're gonna do today. So yeah, this is going to be spoiler filled, so as I'm going I will put the page number in the corner so that you guys know what page I'm on, and if you are watching this as you are still reading the book you won't get spoiled. Any theories that I have I'm going to talk about in this as well as I'm reading it. This one, we're following her as she has a podcast with Ravi. Is that his name? I'm so excited. Pip is one of my favorite heroines, so I have a feeling this is going to be so good. And let's just get started because I can't even wait any longer. I'm hoping to read this in just a couple of days, so we'll see if that ends up happening or not. Okay, so for this video, like throughout it, don't expect great lighting all the time, but I am currently on page 19 and nothing with like the new mystery has happened, and I didn't read the synopsis because I don't want any like chance spoilers or like anything to be given away. So all I know about this is that there's a podcast element with Ravi and Pippa. That's literally it. But right now they're recording a podcast for the first case as like an update on the case with Max, who sexually assaulted and raped at least 2 girls. I don't remember if it's been almost a year since I read the other book, so I don't remember exactly what he did, but I know that he sexually assaulted and raped a couple of girls at least. And at the very top, Pippa is explaining the different laws and the statute of limitations in Connecticut, so how he can't unfortunately be charged with the actual crimes that he committed, but he can be charged with kidnapping, which and all of the things that fall under kidnapping. And if you didn't know, I'm a criminal justice major and I want to become a lawyer, and so this is like the stuff that I learned about, like what falls under each degree and what the different like stipulations are to categorize something as whatever charge it might be. And so I just love that she's explaining it, and obviously I don't know the laws for Connecticut. I don't live in Connecticut, so I'm not studying those laws, so like I can't speak to the accuracy. I just love her explaining that and all of the different things that can qualify as kidnapping. I don't know. The criminal justice nerd in me just loves that. And I love Pip and Ravi together, and I'm just... Also on page 17, Pippa said, yeah, I'm always okay, to her mom, and I'm worried about her. That just made me really sad, and she seems really depressed. And like I understand that she's probably really stressed out after everything that she went through in the last book and how overwhelming that was for her, and now like going to court and stuff, but I'm still really concerned about her, and I don't want her to be sad. All of that's valid, but I don't want her to be sad because I love her. That's my update. Okay, hi guys. It's the next day, and last night I only made it 81 pages into this, and now it's like 6 p.m. So I doubt that I will finish this today. I literally like barely did anything today. And somehow I still managed to have a whole freaking day, let me tell you. Actually, I'm not going to tell you. We're not getting into it. We're not talking about it. But yes, I am 81%. No, I'm 81 pages in, and right now the mystery has like just started. Jamie Reynolds has just gone missing, and Connor and his mom were just interviewed for Pip's podcast so that she can upload it and have people like help, because she's decided she's going to get involved. And something that I really loved was this line from Robbie when she was talking to him about like whether or not she should help, because she wasn't sure if she wanted to get involved in another case because last time like it took so much from her. And he said, but whatever you decide will be the right thing. That's just how you are. And whatever you choose, you know I'll be right here, right behind you, always, okay? I love their relationship so much. Also, some other thoughts that I was having while I was reading this, but I couldn't update you because I was doing reading sprints. I love the authentic representation, in my opinion, of how traumatized Pip and her family are after everything that happened in the last book. Okay, I think I said that decently. And what I mean is that I feel like in most young adult mystery thrillers, the protagonist will like go through this long, crazy journey, solve a mystery, and then at the end they're like, well, another mystery solved. I'm completely fine, even though there will be assassination attempts and a lot of ugly truths unearthed, and like it can be a really traumatic experience. I mean, obviously, I've never solved a mystery, so I don't know what that's like, but I feel like there would be some trauma afterwards for the main character and their entire family, and that's being portrayed in this book. I really like that. It feels very genuine and realistic. So yeah, I love that. And another thing that I wanted to talk about is like a theory that I have for the book, and maybe it's too obvious, but I feel like Arthur, the dad of Jamie and Connor and Zoe, is involved in Jamie's like missing, because he's really mad that Pip is there and recording a podcast, and he's like mad at Connor and his wife, not Connor's wife, Connor's mom, but Arthur's wife. He's mad at them for like getting her involved, and he says that this is all like crazy, and he walked home, whereas Connor's mom, Joanna, I think, drove other people home and then got home. So Arthur got home first, but Jamie like never came home. I feel like Arthur maybe saw Jamie, said something, and like was involved in some way, and he's hiding that. Also, the part where they got into a fight and Arthur literally said to his son, "You're a waste of space," and his son replied, "I know," absolutely shattered my heart, and I do not like Arthur at all. Even if he didn't do it and doesn't even have a little bit of a role in this, I still hate him. He's my least favorite character. He's a horrible father, and I don't like him. Also, does anybody else cry when they get nervous about things, or is that just like a me thing? Because it happens to me all the time. Okay, so I am on page 134. I was gonna read more today. Obviously, I said that I wanted to get to page 220, but I don't think that's happening because it's past midnight. There are so many things that I'm underlining in this book. I love it so much. Like, reading these books reminds me why I love reading. I'm just obsessed with it. So on page 133, when Pip gives that whole monologue to her mom about how like what she did last year was reckless and everything, I just feel like so many people can relate to that, especially in their like teenage years and stuff, where they've disappointed their parents in one way or another, and they're like, nothing I do will be good enough to to make it up to you. Sorry. And I know that that's like a very dramatic teenage thing to say, but regardless, I feel like everyone has felt it, and I just loved that. And then also on page 134, her mom and her are arguing about everything that's going on, and she says, "It's not my job, but it feels like my responsibility. I might not be the only one who can help, but I'm the only one here right now." I love her. I love her so much. And then on page 135, when her dad goes, "And also, I am very big. If anyone even thinks about hurting my daughter, I will rip off their head." We love to see it. We love to see it. It's great. So, I'm going to keep reading until I fall asleep. I do want to make some more progress because I still do want to finish this in just a couple of days. It's one of my most anticipated releases. I'm so happy this book is out and that I don't have to wait very long for the next one to come out. Thank goodness. Okay, if my eyes are watering, it's because I'm nervous about things that are happening in the book, and I think I've mentioned this already. When I get nervous, my eyes start to water and I start to cry. But I'm on page 165, and Pip's doing the interview with Stella, and Stella just said that Jamie came up to her at a calamity party and kept calling her Layla and said that they've been talking for weeks, etc., etc. And my theory is that Luke, Nat Da Silva's boyfriend, was like trolling him on the internet as a girl named Layla and using another girl, like, you know, catfishing him to like get back at him, since Luke probably knew that Jamie was in love with his girlfriend, Luke's girlfriend, I mean. So that's my theory as of right now. Also, the knife is missing, and I still think that the dad plays a role in it, and somehow the missing girl that was like barely briefly mentioned in the beginning of the book and Jamie are connected because he said it was life or death. I don't know how it's all going to connect, but those are all of my theories, and it's really overwhelming. Also, I have class at 9:30 in the morning. It's like 1:30, so I need to go to bed soon, but okay. I'm on page 213. Lauren's ex-boyfriend, Tom, or something like that, just just talked to Pip about seeing Jamie go into Nat's house, and I'm telling you guys, Luke has something to do with it. I feel like maybe because Nat and Jamie were so close, and Luke probably knew that Jamie liked Nat. There's something going on there. Also, I'm 100% certain that the missing child is also involved, and that's like the matter of life and death that's involved. Also, somehow the dad is involved. All of these pieces are connected. I know it. Also, they figured out who Layla was. Well, they haven't figured out who Layla is, but they like talked to their history teacher about Layla and all of that. And then there was a Reddit comment about the Hillary F. Wiseman lead, and that one I feel like is really, really smart. So, I don't know. I'm excited. Also, side note, I just love Ravi and Pip and their relationship. It's so cute. I love it. I love it so much. Yeah, that's my update. Also, Jamie snuck in and stole a random watch. Very curious as to how that's gonna tie in. Okay, so I am on page 309 now. I went somewhere with my mom and I got a good chunk of reading done in the car, which is why I didn't update you. It was dark outside, and also updating in the car is like not convenient, especially when another person is sitting there listening to your thoughts. It's just a little awkward. But a lot has transpired. Obviously, I haven't updated you in like over 100 pages, and I have less than 100 pages left to finish this book, so I'll probably finish it tonight. I no longer suspect Arthur, but the verdict came back for Max and his trial, and I cried because he was obviously found not guilty, and that was just really hard to read because I know that that's like realistic, and then it happens more often than it doesn't, even with all of the proof. It's just infuriating and hard to read. I love the character growth in this book with Pippa and how she's really struggling between like this guilt that she feels for finding something that she's really passionate about, and how that really almost endangered her, or how that did endanger her and potentially could have endangered her family and people that she cared about really, really bad. But at the same time, it's something that she's passionate about, likes doing, she's good at it, and like finding that balance, and so she's had to stifle that a little bit. And with this new case for Jamie and Connor and the Reynolds in general, like she's like reignited that passion again. So she's just had the chat with Charlie Green, and yeah, I don't even know what I suspect anymore. As I said when I was reading A Good Girl's Guide to Murder, I love Pippa. Pippa is the person that I strive to be. She's not a perfect person. She literally pushed someone up against a wall and screamed in their face and got suspended for 3 days. So obviously, like, she makes mistakes. Not that that wasn't warranted, but she makes mistakes. Obviously, everybody does. But I love how much of an ally she is to everyone, and how she tries to be there and tries to do the right thing. And sometimes, like, the results are not what she wanted or expected, and sometimes she ends up hurting people unintentionally. Typically, more good than bad comes out of it. So, yeah, I don't know, but I'm loving it. I'm probably going to finish this tonight, so you'll probably get lots of updates from me throughout, just purely on theories and things and my reaction to who did it, etc. Hi. So, I would like to apologize for the lack of updates, especially as I reached the end of the book, because it is like 3:45 or something like that, and I finished this book last night around 2 a.m., maybe like 2:15 or something. I gave it a 5 out of 5 stars. I loved it. I was in a little bit of pain while I was reading it, and this was distracting me from it, and I felt like if I stopped reading it, I wasn't gonna be, I was gonna be in a lot of pain again, so I didn't want to vlog. Anyway, let's talk about the ending of Good Girl, Bad Blood. When I filmed my spoiler-filled reading vlog for A Court of Silver Flames, I'm not spoiling anything, at the end of the video, I didn't talk about spoilers for some reason. I gave a non-spoiler review in a spoiler-filled reading vlog, which was kind of stupid. So I'm gonna try and not do that. But since I'm so used to like reviewing books in wrap-ups and stuff, I just tend to not talk about the spoilers. But I'm gonna try and go over everything and give you some solid reenactments of what I was looking like while I was finishing this. I don't remember where I last updated you, but all of my theories were wrong, and that's something that I loved about this book and the first book. She implements all of these plot threads, and even until the very end, at least I never know what's going on and can't connect them until the very end when it's all being revealed. And I don't ever predict it before it's being revealed. I will say that, like, part of me kind of suspected Charlie, like, a little bit throughout the book, but then I kept being like, no, he's being so nice and so helpful. Like, he's helping with the investigation, he's showing her all of this footage of Jamie. Like, it couldn't be him. But I, like, never said anything, so it probably sounds like I'm just trying to make myself feel a little bit better. Also, me thinking that, like, the child that was briefly mentioned in the beginning of the book was going to be circled back around. Like, Holly Jackson was putting something super mild in there, like she normally does, and then gonna tie it back into the end. And my theory, I don't think I ever, like, fully fleshed it out and explained it, was that, like, Layla Mead, whoever that was, had a kid and, like, put them up for adoption, found out that they lived in the town, and when the child was abducted at, like, the beginning of the book, that was actually Layla Mead's kid, whether they were a man or a woman. Well, I guess a man couldn't put up their kid for adoption, but, like, maybe the mom did. The mom had died or something, and that child was put up for adoption and the dad was going to get it. Whatever. It's a person, Erin. Them. My dogs are just barking at each other. I apologize, I'm not going to be able to get them to stop. And then through talking to Jamie, Layla Mead convinced Jamie that they needed to go get that child because that child had, like, brain cancer or something and they needed an operation. That was my theory. Obviously very, very wrong. Nothing like that. The ending really creeped me out for a couple of reasons, but, like, for privacy reasons, I can't actually talk about it in this video. There was just something in there that I saw it and I was like, that hits a little too close to home. Also, everything that happened with Max, content warning in this book, and I mean, obviously you've already read it unless you're one of the people that just watches my spoiler-filled videos and hasn't read the book, which if that's the case, thank you so much, I appreciate that. If you haven't read this book, content warning, or this series in general, content warning for rape, drugs, sexual assault, like being drugged, I mean, and also just like the use of drugs in general for recreational purposes, if that's something that bothers you, or that you're sensitive to, I should say. There are a lot of content warnings for this book, like murder, loss of a pet, attempted murder, just like a lot of things. But the way that the trial ended for Max was really triggering for me. I think I talked a little bit about it in the vlog. I'm someone that tends to ignore things that will trigger me in books, which is not great for my mental health, but I do it anyway. So if it's something that you're genuinely super sensitive to, don't read this. Like, it was really hard to read that and read the reactions of Nat and Pip, and it sucks because it's so realistic. And that's another thing that is like really creepy about Holly Jackson's writing that I love, is that these things feel very realistic with all of the different, like, how complex they are, and her storytelling in general. Like, I literally looked up Child Brunswick, or like the Rochester monster killer person, whatever that she mentioned in the book, to see if that was a real thing after. Like, I thought that was real, because unfortunately in our messed up world, like, people sending out their kids to help them abduct other kids doesn't sound that far-fetched to me, which is terrible. I wouldn't be shocked if that was a way that serial killers lured their victims. I think that the third book is going to be following Pip as she's trying to find Charlie and Flora, which I think is interesting, because in the first book, like, it didn't really set up for a sequel, I guess. Obviously, we had elements in this book of the first book that were continued, but if it had been a standalone, like, it would have completely worked as a standalone. But it also works super well as a series. And I like that each of the books, you could technically read them by, like, because it mentions the details that you, like, would need to know throughout. Like, if you were just to pick up the second book, you wouldn't need to have read the first, I guess. But it does make more sense, and you already know all the characters if you have read the first book. Again, I loved Pip's character growth and everything like that. I loved the development of her and Robbie's relationship as a couple, but it wasn't overpowering to the story, though it was still there, and progress. I don't want to say progress was made, but you still saw growth. And I did not think that Charlie was genuinely going to shoot Stanley to the point where Stanley was literally gonna die. Also, the people that showed up to Stanley's funeral and were protesting him made me so mad. And I love that Pip went over there and, like, started fighting them. Like, I know that that's not great behavior, shouldn't be encouraged, but at the same time, I love that she was defending him. And that's one of my favorite qualities that Pip has as a character in general, always has been, is her willingness to defend other people that either can't defend themselves or don't feel like they can. They feel like they deserve the harassment, bullying, etc. because of previous experiences. I just love how it's not even a thought to her to be like, oh, I should stick up for this person, maybe I will. It's just like, you're harassing a dead person right now, you need to stop. And that is her whole train of thought. It's not like, should I help? I love that also Pip, like, accepted the fact that after everything that happened in the first book, like, maybe she wasn't the person that she started as in that first book, and even though she was trying to be, like, that was what was making her unhappy, and obviously she had trauma from that, so, like, she still would have had things to go through had she already admitted, like, she was a different person. But I don't know, I loved that, like, pull back and forth. I just thought that that was, again, super realistic. So I loved this book. I gave it a 5 out of 5 stars. I thought it was excellent. When Charlie came in, I was like, oh my god, oh my god. There were literally chills all over my body. And then when he pulled out the gun, I was like, oh my god, oh my god. And then when he set the house on fire, I was like, seriously? I think that's a little bit overkill. The only thing to me that was, like, a little unrealistic was how quickly him and Flora like left. I feel like the police could have dispatched someone else to go to their house and find them, but like maybe Flora was just waiting in the car ready to go after Charlie like shot Stanley. That was the only thing that I was like, I feel like they could have found him and like he couldn't have gotten that far. But obviously, like, the police's priority in a situation is saving the lives that are there and like getting the situation under control, not who's fled the scene and everything like that. Like, they can find them later. So I guess that was realistic, but at the same time, like, you couldn't have just dispatched someone else. I freaking loved this book. It was so good for so many reasons. And I think I will do like a whole review for it just in case people aren't interested in watching this vlog. But yeah, I loved it. So sorry for the slow energy right now. I'm like seriously so exhausted. And it's frustrating to me, but I wanted to be able to talk to you guys about it while it was still super fresh in my mind. And again, I apologize for not like vlogging my reactions. I will do a better vlog for the third book if you guys still want one. That's it for this video. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Let me know your thoughts on the book and all of your theories if you're currently reading it and like pausing the video to come back later. I'd like love to hear them, or like theories that you had throughout the course of reading the book. I love you all so much. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I hope you're doing well reading mentally and otherwise, and I really hope to see you all in my next video. Bye guys.